The Golden Hour Birth Podcast, a podcast about real birth stories and creating connections through our shared experiences.
Childbirth isn't just about the child. It's about the person who gave birth, their lives, their wisdom, and their empowerment.
We're Liz
And Natalie,
the Golden Hour Birth Podcast, and we're here to laugh with you,
cry with you,
and hold space for you.
Oh, welcome to the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. We're so happy to have you back. I'm your host, Natalie.
And I'm your host, Liz. And today we have a very special guest. It's our first time having a remote guest. So if the sound is a little different, that's why. But we wanted to introduce Jenny. And thanks for coming on. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Yeah, I'm Jenny. My full name is Jennilyn. A lot of people, when I became an adult, call me Jennilyn. And I am a nurse at Reproductive Biology Associates, a fertility clinic in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the clinical educator. So I talk a lot and I teach new nurses about the field that I'm very, very passionate about, fertility. And when I was in nursing school, I was interested in women's health and psychology. And how do you mix those two? Fertility. So it was, I feel like I was destined for this job, and I truly, truly, truly love it. But I live here in North Georgia with my two girls and my husband, Daniel. He goes by Danny. We met. Yeah. So for all the St. Louis that listen, he went to Marquette. I went to Eureka.
Oh.
We went to two different high schools. And we met when we were 16. And we were inseparable. Where we met, we didn't stop. Hanging out. He was my best friend. And, ups and downs. But we went to college together in Alabama, and then we ended up in Georgia.
Awesome. I love that. I love the high school sweetheart love.
Oh, yeah. We grew up together. I mean, he, in many ways, I watched that guy grow chest hair. We've gone through it all with each other.
Whoa.
So it's something really special and unique.
That's amazing. So when did you guys decide that you wanted to start a family? And then how did kind of like that journey go?
Yeah, in college, I found out I had PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, where you just don't ovulate on your own. Mm-hmm. So without birth control, I don't have a period. I knew from that point, I knew I would need some kind of help getting pregnant. I didn't look into the job for that. I just happened to fall onto it. And after we got married, we eloped. And in 2018, we eloped. And shortly after that, I was like, whatever, I'll get off birth control and we can see. Well, a couple months go by, nothing. I tried a couple of rounds of medication. I took letrozole and Avidril. It's an injection that forces you to ovulate.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny didn't know about like the first 5 months of that. He just thought that he was getting rage. And he was just happy to be there. And so it was June. I went to a family wedding, and I was, you're hoping to be pregnant for those big events, those family events. It was a letdown that I wasn't. My coworker, she was pregnant the month we both tried. And it was just you feel so sad and disappointed each month. And it gave me insight into what my patients go through. So we moved into our new home, and we tried again in July. I just so happened to be talking to my sister about this stuff at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we started our periods around the same time. She just got married. And we tried with medication, again, a higher dose this time. And I was testing at work because I'm surrounded by pregnancy tests.
Yeah.
Why would I pay for one?
Love that.
So I was at work on a weekend, and I took a test, and it was like a very faint line. And I'm all by myself, and I'm holding the test, and I'm like shaking. And my manager, I'm close with all my coworkers, and she sees me with that test, and she just screams, like screams down the hall. And the director of nursing at the time, she was like, "Who's screaming on a weekend?" Absolutely not. Like, she's joking. She's like, "Who the hell is screaming?" And Melissa was like, "Jen." And I was like, I'm shaking and holding the little test to her. And I was like, I think it's positive. She goes, "Yeah, it's positive unless you're just a weird old man with a disease. No, it's positive." And so we do our test. That was 11 days after ovulation. That was 11 days.
Oh, wow.
And it was positive, which is the first sign I should have noticed. The blood work was like pretty high. It was, I think, over 100. And I have where I work, we have ultrasound. And so I could do ultrasounds at like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I did a really early ultrasound, and we saw 2 sacs. So immediately we saw 2 sacs, and I was so anxious because I'm in a realm that there could be multiple per sac.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, as long as there's just 2 heartbeats per sac, as long as there's just 2 heartbeats per sac. That time was pretty scary. Early on, I didn't have very many symptoms early, but I hit about 7 or 8 weeks, and nausea hit pretty bad. I don't know about you guys, but like, if I'm going to vomit, I fight it. My body fights it really hard. I try to avoid it at all costs. But I didn't have a choice. Tons of food aversion. I think I lost weight at that point. My only appetite, I just wanted a turkey sub from Jersey Mike's. And I was just like, I don't care. I'm not eating anything. Like, I can't eat anything. So the risk be damned. I'm eating that turkey sub. And so that was a little tough. When it came to like 14 weeks, though, it stopped. All of it stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it got better. And, it was like almost like I hit a wall. I could drink coffee again. I could go about normally. Now, other symptoms started pretty early with me. I don't know if you guys know what PCOS is. I had no idea what this was. It is PUPPPS. It's a bunch of P.
Yeah.
But it's related to your placenta, and it causes excessive itching all over your body.
I have heard of that. But yeah.
It was
I've never heard of it.
It's from your placenta, and it's from a lot of first pregnancies get it, and first pregnancies of boys. And it can happen with first pregnancies because you get so big so fast. And with twins, I got big so fast.
Yeah.
I was itching so much. They had to give me, I had to take Benadryl or Zyrtec every day.
Oh my gosh.
It was full. I also got lightning crotch really early. Oh, ditto. I got lightning crotch probably 23 week, 24 week.
Oh, wow, that is early.
Yeah. I thought I got it early, but I didn't.
I know. I listened to your episode and I was like, ooh, that feeling. Ow, that feeling is something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the beginning, we were so overjoyed with it. I was really, really excited. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I knew the measurements of my follicles. Like, I was like, oh, are these identical? Was it that small follicle that was just hanging over there? So I was very aware of everything when I was pregnant.
How did
we
you
did
tell Danny? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. How did you tell Danny? Because I don't think you said that part. Like, how did you tell Danny that you were pregnant at work? And then how did you tell him it was twins?
Yeah. So after I went home, got off of work and I was like, I got to find one of those fancy tests, one of those store-bought tests that just say pregnant. Yeah. You won't get the whole line. And I go to his work. He works in real estate and he works for a home builder. So he's there at the model home and he has a partner. And I get there and it's just his partner there. And she's like, oh, he's walking a house with some customers. And I was like, all right. And I really wanted to videotape it. So I was like, I guess I'm going to tell one more person before my husband. So do me a favor. And when Danny's coming up, I need you to take a video because I'm going to tell him I'm pregnant. And she was so excited. And I have him on like the front porch and I'm like, hey, babe, we're going to have to start preparing because we have someone coming to visit us in April. And he's like, who? He was like, I'm not sure who they'll be. But, and I start to pull out and he goes, oh my God. And he's just like, and he's like, it's cause he was like, we did it. He said something like, we did it last night. Was it that? You're an idiot. Oh, you're an idiot. Yes. The best one was when I got that ultrasound. That day, it was like, I was really, really, really ill. I was like 5 weeks. And I had just called my sister that day. Like I got home from work, called my sister. She had a loss. And I didn't want to be like, hey, I know you're trying, you pregnant yet? Mm-hmm. That's never a good thing. Yeah. If someone's struggling to get pregnant, don't do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we're talking. And when you're doing small talk with someone and you're skirting around the things that you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. We're talking about stupid crap. I don't even remember. And she goes, and she cuts the shit. It goes, are you pregnant? And I was like, here, I am. And she goes, you know what? I took a test today. I think are you too. Or I go, you think? No joke, her and I were 5 days apart. Oh, you got pregnant 5 days apart.
That is so special.
And it was that day. Yeah, it was that day where I had that ultrasound. And I go, Kimberly, I really don't mean to steal your thunder. I do think it might be, I think it's twin. And she was like, I'm like, one-upping you. I'm so sorry. But it was so exciting. And I had planned that day for my friend Anna to take them over. And I was going to have a glass of wine, talk to her. We hadn't seen each other in a while. She's a nurse at a children's hospital. She's in the shit. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. She knew that we had been trying for a couple months and she was like, how's it going? And we stopped trying. It was a fight. We had a fight. Lying. Just straight up lying to her. And until Danny got home from work that I had him start recording. And I recorded me telling her, which by the way, during this time, we're idiots and we decided to get a puppy. Her initial reaction was, oh my God, are you getting a puppy? I'm like, yeah, we're still getting a puppy. That's dumb. We're so dumb. We paying for the puppy and all of that. And we'd already put a deposit down. And then I find out it's twins. And I'm like, I'm going to put money down. This is going to happen. So I say, Danny, keep recording. And he goes, that's not part of the plan. He's recording. And I pull out that ultrasound and I go, and I start crying because I was holding it in too long. I'm like, twins. And he ruins the video because he goes, the person. And I'm like, and then after the video's gone, he goes, it's because we did it twice that one day, isn't it? When you did it twice.
Like, and cool, funny.
I love this. It's not the medical. But yeah, and it was so fun having that initial "we're pregnant" and then doing the "and it's twins." Like it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Really, really sad.
I love that.
Because everyone's so excited, and then they're just like, and then their look in their eyes, it's so scared. So scared for you. Like, I'm scared. So it was really pretty exciting at the beginning.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like always.
Yeah. So after like the 24-ish weeks of like lightning crotch, how did it go from there?
Now the anatomy scan obviously is super long when it comes to twins. You're measuring everything and anything. They're able to get baby B just fine. We could see all of baby B. She seems to have all the room to flip around, and it was baby A that we really couldn't visualize. She was just facing my spine, so we couldn't see her face. And that would slow down more appointments and later on, more ultrasounds. But we held off on genetic testing. We didn't do the gender testing or anything. And I just wanted to wait because with twins, it's not a definitive. You could say, it just tells you if the Y chromosome is present or not. In my case, it would have told me the answer, but I was like, I think it's a boy and a girl. I think it's a boy and a girl. I don't think it's going to give me the full answer. I'm not sick enough to be both girls, And plus, by the way, no girl name. We had no girl name set out.
We were the opposite.
None that we liked. And I had my ultrasonographer who happens to also be a twin mom in the fertility game.
Love it.
There's a lot of us. There's like 6 twin parents in our office.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I was like, okay, I think it's like, she was like, I think it's time. Let's do your gender. Let's find the gender today. So it's really cool having the ability to just pop a wand in your vagina and have your coworkers tell you stuff. So her name is Kimmy. She's fantastic. I love her. And Jen, another ultrasonographer, who's also a twin parent. I had been in there and they were going to write it down. And I was going to go home and Danny and I were going to see it and open it up together. And they write it down really secretively. And right at the end, Jen is like, hey, what do you think it is? And I go, oh, I think it's going to be a boy and a girl. And Jen goes, hey, Kimmy, did you hear what she thinks they are? All right, so I'm wrong. I'm wrong. And I proceed to have the longest ride home. So much traffic. Atlanta's known for traffic, but it took me an hour and a half to get home. And the envelope is in my front seat. I'm just staring at it. So Danny and I opened it up together that night. And the video's bad. I've never posted it. I've never shared it because I look so disappointed. But really, it's just the anxiety flooding me that I have no names. Like I have some names, but we don't like them. And we've talked about baby names. I'm a psycho since like 16. I had a list on my phone. So it's real. You know what you're having. You now have to name this person. And it was really exciting. But, ultrasound stopped being fun when you get to the anatomy scan and further. Because I was also, appointments are really expensive because you're like with a singleton pregnancy, they don't do ultrasounds commonly, like all the time. Every single time I was in the office, I did an ultrasound. And along with the pups, it was the ultrasound gel made my whole body break out. It was awful. But there was one, so we got to the point where the the OB was like, we really need to see baby A's face to make sure she's okay. That she has the chin, that she has, the normal profile. We want you to go over to the perinatologist down the road. They have more intense ultrasounds, I guess.
Right.
So I'm in the business. I know everyone. My OB is upstairs. Like, it's really easy to do these appointments. So that day, January, I decided to clock in and go down the street. Like, I stay clocked in. I know it, but early I clocked in. I'm like, hey, I'll be back. I'll be back. I put a Clementine on my desk and I'm like, I'll see you later. and I go and I park over there. At the appointment, they start to scan me. And the ultrasonographer, her and I are, shooting the shit. And then she gets really, really quiet. And I was like, oh, is everything with me okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to have the doctor come in and talk to you. Are you feeling okay? I was like, yeah, I feel fine. I feel great. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. She brings the doctor in and the doctor goes, well, while we were doing that ultrasound, you had contraction. Did you feel those? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she goes, also your cervix is very small. It's thin. So and then she casually says the word admission. And being a nurse, I'm like on high alert. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am, go back. Hey, why? She goes, and I say, what are you saying to me? And she just says, I'm going to need to admit you to the hospital to make sure you don't go into labor. And I freak out. Like, I am like hyperventilating, like losing a little bit.
How many weeks were you?
I was 27.
Oh, yeah. So early.
Yeah. I was 27 weeks. And I was also, I was scared. I didn't sign up for short-term disability when I got my job. And that was apparently at the time, that was our maternity leave. So I learned about that and I was like, I don't have maternity leave. And so I've been anxious, all of the symptoms so far, all of the financial things about the ultrasound. I was so stressed, so anxious. My blood pressure was fine. It was nothing like that, but everything was building, financially building. You look up the cost of twins and you're just like, you want to freak out. Well, I'm at that point, I'm at 27 weeks and I'm being admitted. The first people I called Danny, obviously, but I texted my manager and the clinical manager and I was like, Karen and Krista, and I immediately was like, they're admitting me. It's too early. Like, if I read that text now, I start to cry. Like, it makes me so upset. It makes me so sad. But I go, it's too early. And Krista and Karen just like jumped in and they were like, it's okay. We got this. We'll put your out of office on. They like jumped into action. I later found out Krista was crying. Like, she was hysterical. And I'm so close with all my coworkers, but she was so strong in that moment. I'm so thankful for them. But I texted them and I told my mom. She didn't understand what was going on, but I didn't either. They knew that I was a nurse. All around, if you're in the Atlanta area, it's called Pill Hill. It's all of the hospitals. And North Side is the baby factory where everyone delivers. Known. They have like 3 floors of delivery, like 3 L&D floors.
Wow.
The Women's Center is massive. This office has a tunnel that goes into Northside Hospital.
Wow.
The doctor tells me, well, I know you're a nurse. I can't let you leave. Which in clinical terms is, you are a flight risk. I think you're going to leave and run away. So they put me in a wheelchair and wheel my big ass all the way to the hospital. And I'm sitting in front of the check-in desk. And Natalie, I don't know if you remember this, but if I cry, I get splotchy. Everyone is aware that I'm crying. Everyone. And I am bright red. I am sobbing. I'm scared. I'm by myself being admitted into the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Indefinitely, by the way. They did not tell me anything. So I get into the room. I'm on a high risk perinatal unit. And I worked in the hospital in St. Louis. I worked in the hospital in Atlanta. I never thought that I was going to be someone in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Especially at 26 years old. So it was very weird. I did my glucose test that day. And by the way, because I left my Clementine at my desk, I was starving. I loved that glucose test. I loved it. I was like, yes, bring it. Can I have another one? It's like more tough. It was just, I mean, exactly. I'm like, I still don't have bad memories of that glucose test because I was so hungry. Every woman I tell that to, all my coworkers who've been pregnant since, they're like, "You're crazy. I threw up. Like, what is wrong
It's
with you?"
not good.
No, it's not. But so I was admitted by the perinatologist, but my OB was seeing me. I didn't see the OB till like 11 o'clock that night. He comes in and he's like, did shovel. Like he's had a hard day. He goes, I'm sorry, had like 5 C-sections today. Like that sucks. And they're all talking to me because my doctor, Dr. Andrew Toledo, is buddies with everyone. Like he is so well connected. The dude has connections out the ass in the OB field. And so they all knew I'm his nurse. This is Jenny, Andy's nurse. And so Dr. Basile comes in and he's like, pulls up a chair and he just cuts the shit with me. I'm watching Forensic Files, so that helps me sleep. And he's like, oh, this show is great. This is great. I've seen this episode. Like, I was like, bro, no, we're not talking about Forensic Files. Why am I here? What am I doing? When is the timeline here? Mm-hmm. And they put me on twice a day or 3 times a day monitoring. So I had to monitor the baby's heartbeat along with a togo. So I had to do contraction monitor. I had a really bad first couple days where they had to slow down contraction and prevent them. So I didn't have any blood pressure issues. It was just my cervix could not handle those contractions that occasionally occurred. Mm-hmm. Now, like I think one time they gave me med and I had to do IV because if you're dehydrated, you're at risk for those contractions to come back. Mm-hmm. So, but it was a fine worry because if your bladder's too full, the bladder can push on your uterus and then start contraction. So I was just constantly getting up to go to the bathroom. That was my only activity, was getting up to go to the bathroom. Like it was monitored bed rest, hospital monitored bed rest. So I couldn't leave the room, couldn't go for a walk, nothing. I would sneak out because there's a McDonald's in that hospital, and you bet your ass this fatty over here was like, yeah, the twins need a milkshake. I passed my glucose test. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's not me, it's the twins.
Yeah. That was January, right when people want to start planning baby showers.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had people planning 2 baby showers in St. Louis and a baby shower at work. And we had to make one baby shower got canceled and one was virtual in St. Louis, which sucked so bad. So bad. My coworkers tried to plan a baby shower 3 times at work and all 3 of them got canceled. So, never had that. You panic, and I was like, Danny, you have to put together the cribs now. You know, I'm like months away, like nowhere near the time to need a crib or even a high chair. I mean, you can put together a high chair. But we didn't use that until we were like 9 months old. So I was panicking and making him do stuff. So it was really hard on him because I can't imagine doing this if you had kids, because I was in the hospital. I worked 45 minutes north. So I'm in the hospital right by my work. Some people can come by and see me, but Danny's coming 45 minutes south. After he comes home from work, he takes the dogs out, and we also have 3 dogs at this point, by the way. Oh, my mistake. Life mistake. And he takes the dogs out, and then he'll come see me. So those first couple of weeks, he was doing it like every day. He's paying so much in gas. He's exhausted. He's irritated. It was taking a really big toll on us. So I'm like 2 weeks into this hospital stay, and every day I'm like, what? Can I please go home? Can I please go home? And it's, hey, you've made it another milestone, another day. Every single day is a win. Well, they tell me everything's looking better. Your cervix is getting thicker. I get ultrasound, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The worst part by far was the monitoring. You know, those bands they put on you when you were delivering? We had 3. I have 3 on them. And the girls, when the babies don't like them, if they're small, they can like hit the monitor and they can spin away from it. So when the girls are really, they hated the waves that were going through, and they would just avoid it. So I would spend hours of my day being stuck into the bed and trying to find their heartbeat. So it was a lot of like, no, you have to do this to get the baby A. You have to do this to get baby B. It was so complicated. I was lucky enough at the time to have amazing coworkers who let me work from the hospital room. I was able to get a laptop, and I wouldn't call patients, but I would do insurance stuff. I would do paperwork, clinical, like administrative stuff. So I was able to not get onto short term yet. Like I wasn't using my maternity leave yet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And keeping me sane. It was really keeping me sane to have some kind of work. I wasn't just watching guys' grocery games. And so I was limited to only 3 hours a day, but it got me through.
Yeah.
Eventually, after like 2.5 weeks, they let me go home. They discharged me, felt like I was breaking free. And I immediately come home, and the place that they met, and because I'm light-year, I couldn't do it. I can not clean the whole house. So I cleaned the house. We also had to get our puppy spayed because I didn't want a puppy period around the house when I can't clean. So we also had that scheduled. Well, we got our dog spayed, and I had to take care of her after work. So I'm lifting a large golden retriever puppy. Yeah. It was a terrible idea. Really bad idea. I go to one OB appointment on time, and then I go back to the perinatologist, and I'm not fine. Just a few days apart, and my cervix is thin again. So that one, I was not near the hospital, so they couldn't wheel me. They had to let me go home. So that visit, they were like, we want you, you're being admitted again. Bad girl. But you need to go to the hospital in an hour. You need to go to the hospital in an hour. And I was like so thankful I could pack my own bag.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy, having your husband pack a bag for you is not. Don't let it. Don't let it. That dickhead thought it was funny to pack my vibrator. He's an asshole. And he thought it was so funny. He thought it was the funniest one. I was like, "Yeah, wasn't at home." And I don't care. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I love that.
So the second time around, I could pack my own bag. Like, I'm so thankful. And
So no vibrator.
can I go get sweet tomatoes before? You know that buffet? Sweet tomatoes? They have like the best
Oh yeah.
berry muffins. And I was like, can I please go to sweet tomatoes before? And they were like, Jenny, no. You need to go to the hospital. I was like, so, I mean, that appointment and that was not fun, but it was way less dramatic as the first one when I had no idea what to expect. I thought I was, it was doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm.
That second admission, that was the final one. I knew I was in for the long haul. They wouldn't let me go home because I lived too far away from the hospital where my OB delivers.
Mm-hmm.
And also the biggest thing was the NICU. We needed a really well-equipped NICU.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm back on the same floor, by the way. Same floor, same nurses. And I come back and they're like, what are you doing? What did you do? Why are you here again? And I was like, me being me, can't help it. So that was sucky. And then this time around, I was like, Danny, don't come visit every single day. It's too much on you. It's too much. I'm stuck in here regardless whether you come to visit or not. So this one was a little bit better. I had friends come to see me. I still had work. I actually, when my baby shower in St. Louis got canceled, she decided to change her flight. She came to see me. So she's pregnant, same time I am, just as big, not that big though. She's petite, not having twins. So it was really cool because she would sit in her hospital bed with me, and all of our babies are kicking together.
Oh,
Honestly, it was so cute. It was so cute. She's having a boy. I'm having two girls, and we sit side by side in our bellies. You can see them just rolling.
That is so cool.
It was really neat. And I didn't get comfortable, but I got, pretty, resolute in my position there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not without a lot of, I don't know, depersonalization. You just kind of become a walking incubator at that point, just day by day. You're counting the days. At that point, I had people visit. I had everyone telling their friend, my uncle, sister came to see me. So everyone came to visit because I couldn't leave. Well, and I continued to work too. So I was just keeping busy at that point.
So this was end of February 2020?
End of February. Yeah. And in the hospital, I'm watching the news and I'm like, what's this COVID thing?
Yeah.
I'm talking to other nurses. I'm like, what do you think this is going to be? Do you think it's going to come here?
Mm-hmm.
And I vividly remember everyone being like, no, it's going to die down. It will be okay. My biggest concern at that point was not having leap year babies. I was like, I'm not going to have twins on a leap day. Hell no, are they going to have birthdays every 4 years? What a complicated mess that is. So when I passed the leap day, I was, all right, cool. We're Gucci. We are good. I was due April 21st and we make it into March. I was very happy. I was very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I was now altogether about like 5 weeks of admission. So yeah, there's a lot of guilt around my delivery, but on March 3rd, that night, I missed my husband. I was, bored. All right. I just happened to have an orgasm, and hormonal and pregnant, you're bored, whatever, you're going to do it. The next day, I think nothing of it. And the next day, I'm like feeling more discomfort than usual. And I'm watching Guy's grocery game, per usual, routine, eating Starburst because I was all about that texture at that time. My doctor, the same doctor that was the guy who admitted me, he's super cool. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing? How are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've watched all of the forensic files by now. What's up?" I'm seeing rerun. And was like, "Tough as shit. How are you feeling?" And I go, "Well, it feels like both babies are trying to leave my belly button. You leave outside, a contraction with twins is weird. It's not like focused. It just felt like they're both going outward instead of down like they should be." So I was just explaining, I just don't feel comfortable, like normal. And he was like, "Oh, I'm minimizing it all over the place. I'm minimizing it." And he goes, "Well, let's just put you on the monitor and see. Let's just put you on." And I can't remember her name, but my nurse that day was fantastic. And she put me on the monitor. It got easier to do the monitor as the babies got bigger, because even if they don't like the monitor, they don't have the room to get out.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
And by the way, baby is flipping every other day. So she's just like using her sister's head as a way to just jump off of it and just flip. Whereas baby A, she's just facing my spine and not doing it. Like she can't move very much.
Yeah.
She's so low that they could only see her butt cheek with a vaginal ultrasound. That's how low she was. She was sitting on top of my cervix.
Wow.
In my pelvis. And I remember telling Dr. Basile, I was like, "I feel like I'm being ripped from my pelvis." And he's like, "Oh yeah, classic lightning crotch." I'm like, lightning crotch, I'm split in half. He comes the day after monitoring me, and she goes, "Jenny, it's been 20 minutes and you've had 6 contractions." I was like, "Oh." So Dr. Basile comes, she's like, "We're going to get the doctor back in here. We're going to have to check your cervix." That man had the largest hands. I mean, I merely crawled up the bed. He's here. God bless him. So big, terrified of him. God. So he checks my cervix. He makes this like hilarious joke. He's like, "Well, your tonsils look great." Like, cool. Because also, we're having babies today because your bag is bulging.
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Oh, bulging. What?" Bulging back. He was like, "Well, your amniotic sac is coming out. So we're going to go, right? It's C-section day. We're doing it." And I'm like, shit. My husband's 45 minutes north. I'm starting to like hyperventilate. My nurse is so great. She goes, "Calm down. You're okay. You got this. Don't cry. Don't cry." And he goes, by the way, he goes, "When's the last time you ate?" I'm like, "This Starburst." So he, I text Danny, I called Danny, and I'm like, "Hey, so we're having babies today." I'm like, "We're having babies today. Go ahead and go. I don't think we're in like a rush. Go ahead and go home and take the dogs out. It could be a while. And then head down." I call my friend Irna. She is the children's nurse, and she lives close by, and she had like a go bag, y'all. She went there. She was there in like 10 minutes. And helping me. It's like she helped me so much. I happened to be like getting wheeled down and I realized, oh, I've been overhydrating. That's what my job was the last couple weeks. Hydrate.
Yeah.
I had to pee really bad. And they're like, no, well, it's okay. We'll put in a Foley. We'll put in a catheter. It's okay. I'm like, I might pee on you before then. So she, Anna's there. She holds my hand while they put the epidural in. And then, fun fact about being hospitalized for 5 weeks, guys, you can't do any grooming down there. It's a mess. I'm a mess. They had this is 6:30 or so at night, and they have shift change. So everyone's giving report to each other.
Yeah.
And they have a new nurse who's shaving my pubes. And the older nurse was like, that's enough. That's enough. I said, oh.
So Danny packs your vibrator, but won't pack your anything to groom you.
With twins, you can't see anything.
Yeah, you'd have to have someone else do it.
That's true.
So that was a great moment. And then they put in the catheter and they're like, oh, Jenny, you really did have to go. You filled the catheter. I'm like, he's in there. And there's March 4th. So that's starting to start restricting from one OR. They don't have enough room for other people. So they're like, who are you? And she's like, oh, I'm just a friend. And they're like, okay, you need to leave. You need to get her stuff. My hospital room is like an apartment. So she had to unpack my whole room and bring it to post-delivery. So she did that. Dr. Basile is like, oh, hey, where's your husband? Where's he at? I go, oh, yeah, I told him to go take the dogs out. He should be here in like 10 minutes or so. We have time, right? I mean, I think we're going to go in like OR at like 8:30. And he goes, and this is when he was very serious. He goes, Judy, the moment your husband is dressed out, we're wheeling you to the OR immediately. And I go, and that's when shit got real. I was like, oh, me. We get wheeled out, I think, at 7. That is shift change in the hospital. So there was already more personnel because of twins, but they were double that. And I'm sitting there face up on the table, and it is so loud in that room. I could hear everyone talking. It was, and Dr. Basile sitting there patiently. Obviously, doctors they give report, and he goes, "You doing okay?" And I remember like choking out, "It's too loud." He goes, "Everybody, stop talking. Oh, get out of here." And I was so thankful for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Section shake, essentially. So I was shaking the whole time. I was crying. Danny was, so pumped. He was just naive to it all. He didn't look over the curtain or anything. He's not that dude. But we had this wonderful anesthesia, the nurse anesthetist. She took my phone and she took pictures of the whole thing.
That's nice.
But I didn't feel a thing. That wasn't, painful or anything. It's the feeling of a tug, and then you hear a baby cry. That was my Natalie. Natalie's baby Ari. She immediately came out screaming, telling the world that she was pissed and she was ready to go. And then baby B came 2 minutes later. That's Nora. And each time before he took out Natalie, his timing was perfect. He goes, "Well, Dad, give Mom a kiss because this is the last time you're going to be over." And takes her out and shows her. And then with Nora, he put Nora towards the barrier. And I have this awesome picture of her reaching out with her little hand and touching that clear barrier.
Cool.
And I was just hysterically crying. So happy. There's all the nurses there for the NICU. So while they're cleaning me up, Danny's taking pictures and seeing them and talking to them. And he goes with the babies while I'm getting cleaned up. They knew I'm a nurse. Obviously, they all know me. So at the end, they show me my placentas. Love it. They're like, what is the up? Yeah. So they showed me both of my placentas. And it was, a very nice, a good time, overall. The delivery at that point, I was just so happy to have made it to 33 weeks. Their outcomes were so much more improved than previously. But they went right to the NICU and I stayed in postpartum. So I didn't get to hold them that night. I didn't get to see them until the next day, until I was okay to get off of the pain drip and go upstairs to see them. So Anna stayed with me that night. She was fantastic. Danny had to go back home and take care of the dog. But we got to see the girls in the morning at the NICU. It's scary. All right. So Nora, 4 pounds, 8 ounce. 4 pounds, 1 ounce. 1 ounce. Yeah. She was just a little bit smaller, but Natalie was immediately further ahead than Nora. She progressed faster. The thing about the hospital we were at, they have 2 NICUs. They have 2 separate NICUs in so many different rooms inside the NICU. They kept my girls in separate rooms most days. So I was always hopping around. This was first week of March. Things haven't shut down yet. I get discharged after 5 days, and I can't drive. After a C-section, you can't drive because if you get into an accident, you could burst your uterus and just be screwed, So thankfully, I have my coworker. He lived kind of by me, and they worked down the road. So they drove me to work, and I'm pumping, doing, I was so adamant. I was like, I gotta do all the pumping and for the girls. And, so I wanted to save money. I packed a cooler of ham sandwiches, Gatorade, waters. And I was dropped off for the whole day. So I would go to each one of their feed and eat, drink, being pumped all the time. In the NICU, they have a pump that would go right to the bedside so you could pump it and hold your baby. You could try to feed. The girls were too to properly breastfeed. So it was just a lot of pumping for me. And there was one day, I remember with my friend Hillary, when driving me, I felt so tired. I'm still so tired. And I was like, this is it. This is COVID. This is what I've heard about. This is the COVID. And when we got home later on, I was falling asleep at both the girls' bedside. And Hillary was like, just take a break. Wait, you're just exhausted. And I'm starting to feel bubble gut, not sweats, bubble gut. I'm feeling ill. And Danny comes home and he goes, did you make sandwiches to go to work? Go to the hospital? And I was like, yeah, I did. He goes, with this mayo? And I was like, babe, this is expired. A year expired. And I was like, I gave myself food poisoning, y'all. I am a week postpartum, and this is also a national toilet paper shortage. Remember that? For reporting toilet paper, and you couldn't find toilet paper.
Yeah.
I was wrapping my brains out bleeding, and I had no toilet paper.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yes. That was a freaking nightmare. Also, Davey's not doing paternity leave yet because he's trying to save it for when the girls come home. So I'm on my own. Thank God for my friend's van because of the cop. Like he's driving around late at night when they're stuck in shelves because he got me a pack of Sherman. I was so close, y'all. I was really close on paper towel.
Oh no.
It was so bad. It was awful. I'm very compulsive now. All the people who I know who are pregnant or about to deliver, I give them the normal thing, but I give them a pack of toilet paper now. Like, I'm not messing
just
around.
don't know.
I just hey, the people are crazy. They did not learn their lesson about 40. They did not.
No.
So, well, we, that was the routine for a while. That was the routine. After a couple weeks, it was driving to the hospital to see the girl, coming back home, driving her hospital to see the girl. That was my whole thing. And that's when COVID started to pick up and started to get a little bit more scary. On March 23rd, Natalie is doing awesome. She's no breathing tube. She's feeding on her own. She's feeding off of the bottle. We do the car seat test because you have to do the car seat test for the NICU just for them to go home. We do the car seat test and I'm talking to the nurses. I'm like, okay, so when I take Natalie home, when we come back tomorrow to see Nora, can I have a crib in her area to put Natalie so that I hold Nora? And, it's just like me and Natalie visiting for Sissy. We're going to come together. And, the nurse was like, yeah, I'll have that coordinated for you. So it was later that night when Danny was able to come help me pick up Natalie and get going. So we come together and the nurse manager comes out and was like, hey, we do need to tell you about a change that's being made. And we are going to have to shut down the NICU to any visitors. And I immediately was like, okay, but like, I can, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that means all of this. Being able to come back.
You're not like a visitor. Yeah.
So I'm like, so when I take Natalie home, I'm not going to be able to see Nora. And I proceed to have like a full-blown panic attack. I've never cried so hard, so loud in public before. I mean, semi-public, and no one's really around.
Yeah.
Danny kept his head cool. He was definitely the partner who was, keeping a level head. I am holding Nora, sobbing, because your child's in an ICU.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able. They're like, we can FaceTime. We'll FaceTime twice a day. I am beside myself. I am just partial. One of the big reasons I'm going through therapy in that moment.
Yeah.
And those leaving my daughter.
Yeah.
It was hard leaving both of them, but I knew I was coming back to see both of them. But coming back with one and leaving the other, I think I'll probably carry that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So they still make you wheel out your baby, holding Natalie, and I'm sitting in that wheelchair, just puffy and just dazed. I was almost just dissociating at that point.
Okay.
And it was before masks, right before we started wearing masks. And I see this woman come up and she's crying because obviously she's been told the same thing. Her husband's been crying. And I see them and I'm like, there you are. Really familiar. I look at her and she goes, you're Dr. Tito's nurse. And I go, and it clicked, and I was like, I am. You were my patient, weren't you? She was right. Her baby was right next to our girl.
Oh.
And she was just told me the exact same thing. I was her main nurse to help her get pregnant.
Oh.
And in that moment, she was just like, this sucks. And I'm like, it really does suck. Like it was one of those weird small world moments.
Yeah.
And she has since come back to me, and I helped her get pregnant baby number 2.
No.
But I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
I was also by myself because Danny had to keep his paternity leave until both girls came home.
Mm-hmm.
So for 3 weeks, it was just Natalie at home with me, and Danny was continuing to work. I was just up with the baby, just doing all the a NICU baby. You have to wake them up every 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 3 hours on the dot, waking up to feed. I would pump, hold her head up because she's also, refluxy, like normal NICU babies, I guess. And it was like not really bad. And then Nora started to improve, and she came home after 40 days.
Wow. So like past her due date. Was it past her due date?
She came home April 15th, so she was like a week away from her due date.
Oh my gosh. So like they had to like do that all on their own. Like you didn't see her for 40 days?
No, they would just FaceTime twice a day.
Oh
so I'm just sitting there going through that constant 3-hour cycle, and then just waiting for a FaceTime call.
Yeah.
Every day. So, and then they came home. So I'm like, I used to one baby,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom, we have 2.
Wow.
So it was a trip.
Yeah. So how was postpartum after having 2 and Danny got to do his paternity leave?
So he started his paternity leave here. It was all teamwork or nothing. It was, we split it up in, I'll do diapers, you do bottle. Natalie came home on a Dr. Brown bottle with NearSure and breast milk.
Mm-hmm.
Nora came home on a MAM bottle with Alimentum. And so there was a total routine with the bottle, how to do them separately and correctly. It stresses me out because I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
I did the diapers, and then we would meet together. We would feed, hold them, burp them for 20 minutes, and then put them down. I would pump. So it got really, really old after a while, the pumping.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't producing a whole lot. I was beating myself up. There's so much guilt when you have a NICU baby. Especially in my situation where I felt completely at fault for it. I felt I just kept that to myself. I'm very secretive of it. I think I caused my delivery by, being stupid and hormonal the night before. And I caused it. I totally caused this. I'm the reason why I'm not feeding my daughter. And then you're pumping, you're like, I'm not making enough. It's my fault. I'm not, feeding enough for my kid, get my girl. So it kept postpartum depression there the whole time. You're just kind of circling there. So he had 2 weeks off. He had 2 weeks paid. And he goes back to work. The last couple of days, I'm like, how do I feed both babies at once? I'm not going to do one and the other and then pump, because I will literally never sleep. They'll never sleep.
Yeah.
Or eat or shower or
I have a couple of pictures of me, both babies are propped up and I have bottles on either side.
Yeah.
And I'm just it's pretty insane. So he goes back to work, and I have 1 or 2 days. All of a sudden, I'm on the second day of all by myself with both babies. And he walks in while I'm pumping, and he has tears down his eyes. And he goes, I was just laid off.
Oh my God.
So
you
add more trauma
serious?
to
Come on.
where I'm pumping, trying to think about how we're going to feed two babies. One is on an expensive formula, and my husband comes home and tells me he doesn't have a job.
Oh my God.
So we freak out. Thank God for the unemployment that was increased during the COVID shutdown.
That's good.
That helped so much. He had severance. He took that hard. He took that so hard. And we got fully COVID shut down here. It was just craziness with the babies. It was just us and the babies. And they're just locked down with two of them. Looking back, I'm still so bitter about them writing him off right after paternity leave, but they gave him the paternity leave, paid paternity leave. The severance also was really good, and he got unemployment on that. I had unemployment, and then I started working early. He got more time with the girl. He, had a really long time with them early on, and then they gave him his job back after like 2 months or so.
That's so good.
He reapplied, and they hired him back when things started to clear up, but get a little bit better and open up a little bit more. So we ended up being okay through that, but it was really traumatic. It would have broken a lot of people, but Danny and I, we didn't let it stop us. We kind of bonded together there. And if anyone's pregnant with multiple, even now as a nurse who is in the fertility field, and I have patients who get pregnant with twins, I tell them, you have to work as a team, or it's going to break you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's teamwork, or it's gonna wreck your marriage. It's just that simple.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to say, when did it feel like it kind of got a little bit easier? Was there like some sort of milestone or something? Or
it got
still
easier when they went to daycare. When they finally went to daycare. They go to work. That's when it got a little bit better. I got back on my anti-anxiety. I stopped pumping. I am a huge, all for breastfeeding, all for pumping. But the mental toll that took, I already had been so depersonalized in the hospital, and then hooking yourself up for cow to something that's going to milk you, takes away who you are a lot. And I had to stop. I just had to stop. I felt a lot better when I stopped pumping. And I also was able to start working on my mental health more. It took me a really long time to talk about my guilt towards the girl's delivery. It took weeks into therapy for me to talk about that, and to, very shamefully, just say it one day. And my therapist said something I'll never forget. She's like, when you bring something into the light, something shameful into the light, it shrinks. So now I can talk about it and be like, hey, we all masturbate. It happens. We all do it. But it affected my sex life for a year after my delivery, because I was so riddled with guilt and shame. I couldn't enjoy sex with my husband, and he thought it was his fault. And then finally, I have to confess something to you. I'm so sorry for the NICU bill. It's not my fault. I did this, and I think this is why our daughters were born early and all of these issues. And he's such a man. He was just so excited that he's not his fault. He was like, I thought you weren't attracted to me anymore. Oh, well, And I talked to other NICU moms. We all have that guilt. You caused it. Your body didn't do the right. You weren't able to deliver at the right time. That is your fault. So I'm still processing all of that. It's a trauma that is very, very having children in the NICU.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have work there.
You are amazing. That was way more than I ever thought.
I know that outline I wrote, like, let's be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be big deal, casual. It's not casual.
So Jenny, what advice would you give for moms of multiples?
It would be make sure your partner is ready. Make sure you and your partner are strong. Go to therapy. Work out the kinks in your relationship first.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're in a good spot. It's going to test you. It's going to test you. But it's so satisfying. The multiples are so fun to see and so very loving and it's just so much fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stress, but it's worth it.
Jenny, thank you so much for telling your story and being so vulnerable and sharing the birth of your beautiful girls.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion and found it insightful and beneficial. Remember, the Golden Hour Birth Podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you. If you appreciate the content we bring you each week, consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform or sharing the show with your friends and family. Your support helps us reach more people and continue creating valuable episodes. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach us on our website, www.goldenhourbirthpodcast, or connect with us on social media. We value your feedback and want to make sure that we're delivering the content you want to hear. Before we sign off, we'd like to express our gratitude to our incredible guests who joined us today. We are honored that they trust us enough to be so open and vulnerable. We're grateful for their time and willingness to share their stories with us. If you're interested in taking the conversation further with us, join us on our Facebook group, The Golden Hour Birth Circle. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode, so be sure to tune in. Until then, stay golden and remember to take care of yourself. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. Bye!